The movie begins by showing an industry where a scientist has created special particles. Other scientists in that chemical industry want to steal his invention, which frustrates him. Annoyed by their actions, he decides to leave the agency. This part is a flashback. Now, in the present day, that same scientist runs his own agency and has a daughter. She tells him, "Father, you're getting old now. I can take over the agency with my co-worker." While the scientist stays away from the agency, his daughter and her co-worker secretly make a yellow costume that looks like the Ant-Man suit. They plan to misuse it and sell it for a lot of money to get rich quickly, which is completely wrong. Meanwhile, the main character, Scott, enters the story. Scott is a former robber who has just finished serving a tough punishment. He returns home and visits his pretty daughter, but he learns that his ex-wife has remarried after their divorce. Struggling to find a way to live, Scott looks for a job, but no one hires him because of his criminal past. Worried and desperate, he meets a friend who says, "You've tried hard to find work, and it's not your fault they won't hire you. You're good at stealing, maybe you should start again." Scott agrees, saying, "Yes, I need to survive somehow." His friend tells him about a house with something valuable that could make him rich. Excited, Scott breaks into the house and cracks open a safe. But there's no money or diamonds inside, just an Ant-Man costume. Disappointed, he complains to his friend, "What a useless thing this is. I thought it'd be something valuable." At that moment, the police arrive, arrest him again, and take him to prison. Scott meets a scientist who invented the particles. The scientist tells him, "Don't worry, this was my plan. I wanted you to find that costume and wear it to see if you're the right person for it. The costume lets you change your size. You can grow taller or shrink smaller." Soon, a few ants deliver the Ant-Man costume to Scott in his cell. He puts it on right away and escapes from prison. He goes straight to the scientist, who explains, "My daughter made a yellow version of this costume. It's more advanced, but she wants to sell it. I won't allow that because she used my technology. I chose you to get it back from her." Scott agrees to help since the scientist helped him escape. He heads to the agency where the scientist's daughter works and confronts her. She asks, "Why are you here?" Scott tells her the truth. Feeling guilty, she admits, "If that's true, I'm sorry for betraying my father. I kept him away so I could make this costume. If he wants someone worthy to use it, that's fine. But I'll test you first and train you to see if you're capable." Scott agrees, and she begins teaching him how to use a costume properly. While training, the daughter feels bad about her actions and visits her father. She says, "I always thought you cared more about your chemicals than us after you and Mom divorced. Tell me, where is she?" The scientist replies, "My daughter, I made a costume for your mother too, called the wasp suit. She could fly and shrink. During a mission, she shrank too small and got lost in a place she couldn't return from. There's a limit to how small you can go, but she went beyond it. I still miss her." Scott overhears this and says to the scientist, "You never told me that." The scientist warns him, "I haven't given you the suit officially yet. Remember, don't shrink too much, or you'll be lost too." Then he adds, "It's time for your first mission. You've learned how to use an Ant-Man suit. Go to the agency I left years ago and steal a secret device." Scott replies, "Don't worry," and heads off, wearing the red and black Ant-Man costume. It turns out the scientist's daughter's co-worker has betrayed them and teamed up with the old agency the scientist once worked for. Scott sneaks in and steals a secret device. There, he discovers a co-worker experimenting with a yellow Ant-Man suit and planning to sell it at a meeting. Scott, now as Ant-Man, arrives with a group of ants and disrupts everything. He reaches a yellow suit, but the co-worker confronts him, saying, "I knew you'd come." The co-worker captures Scott, the scientist, and his daughter. Thinking quickly, Scott shrinks himself to escape and rescue them. Just then, an agent steals the suit's formula and runs off. Explosives set to protect the yellow suit go off, but Scott saves the scientist and his daughter, getting them out safely. The agency explodes behind them. The co-worker, however, had protected the yellow suit and now wears it himself. Scott can't stand it and rushes to fight him. A battle begins. Scott has the upper hand because he's trained with his suit, while the co-worker struggles to control the more advanced yellow one. Frustrated, the co-worker goes to Scott's house and takes his daughter to blackmail him. Scott races home and fights the co-worker. After a fierce struggle, he gets an idea. Why don't I shrink inside his suit and break it from within? He does just that, and it works. The yellow suit is destroyed. But Scott makes a mistake by shrinking too much, entering a strange place called the Quantum Realm, where the scientist's wife had also vanished. Upset and trapped, he spots a capsule in his suit, adjusts it, and reverses time to escape. Everyone is thrilled when he returns. The scientist asks, "How did you get back from there?" "I'm so happy you've given me hope that my wife could return too." He praises Scott warmly. At the end, the scientist takes his daughter to a special spot and reveals a new costume, a replica of the wasp suit, saying, "This is my latest creation."